Hi, welcome to the Badass Breastfeeding Podcast. This is Dianne, your lactation consultant.
And I'm Abby, the Badass Breastfeeder. And today's episode is brought to you by Nursing Queen.
Nursing Queen?
Yes, we love Nursing Queen. The sweatshirt that Dianne and I can't stop talking about.
I know. I wear it all the time now.
I know. I love it so much. This brand is a game changer for breastfeeding moms, making life so much easier when you're traveling for the holidays or you're out and about running errands or you need to pump. We will hear more from our sponsor later, but you can head to badassbreastfeedingpodcast.com and check out our sponsor page. If you need anything, see if you can give them any of your business because they do make this podcast possible. While you're there, scroll down, enter your email address, and we will send episodes straight to your inbox every week. And we are on Patreon, and you can check the link at the top of the show notes under this episode, wherever you're listening from, and see if any of our tiers look good to you. We have a badass tier, we have a super badass, and an ultra badass. And we would invite you to take a look at those and see if there's any way that you could join us over there, because we're having lots of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And we're also still hosting our ongoing giveaway for people who leave reviews around the internet. So take a screenshot of your review wherever you leave it, or share the podcast on your Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or whatever you've got. And we just want to get the podcast out there. We want more people to listen. So any way that you help with that, take a screenshot, send it to badassbreastfeedingpodcast@gmail.com along with your address. And we will send you a goodie bag of thank you for nursing in public cards for you to spread around your community, and podcast stickers for you to put on your water bottle. Don't forget to drink your water. Take a sip of water. I have to take a sip all the time. Everyone, take some water. Yeah. So do that, and we'll send you that goodie bag. We love doing it, so don't be shy.
Mm-hmm.
We do it all the time. And now Dianne has our review of the week.
And it says, I listened to this podcast while nursing my son, who I nursed for 2 years, and continue to listen through nursing my now 5-month-old. The podcast is very informative, relatable, and an easy listen, and the episodes aren't too lengthy. Keep up the great work. I love it when we have people that have listened like through their first baby and then come back and listen more through their second baby or their third baby or whatever. And we do keep the episodes short. That's for our benefit more than yours. But
well, I mean, yours too, because sometimes I turn on podcasts and it's like an hour and a half. And it's like, I'm not,
who's got that kind of time?
When am I going to listen to this? Like, I'm not on a road trip every day where I can listen to an hour and a half of something.
I know.
And most things I listen to, I'm like, yeah, you could have summed that up.
I know. I agree. And that's kind of how we always try to keep it at least like half an hour so that it's easy for people to listen to. Because it's a lot to try to listen to something. And it's a lot to be talking about one topic for an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't want to make it where people are like, that could have easily been a half an hour.
Yes.
Turned out to be an hour. So, I mean, it's just easier. And we're glad that you appreciate that. But a lot of times people will say that they listen during the night and stuff like that. And we don't want you up for an hour during the night listening to our podcast. Are you kidding me? It's too much.
Yeah. You can just, yeah. You don't need to do that. And so, I mean, people want answers. It's like, you don't have to wait an hour for the answer.
No, not at all. So thank you so much for writing in, and congratulations on your breastfeeding journeys. It sounds like that you are, you went 2 years with your first and you're going strong with your second. So that's awesome. Congratulations. And today we are going to talk about breast storage capacity, because we haven't talked about this in like 5 years or something, I think. Mm-hmm. So it's been a while, and this is kind of a cool topic. And Abby before we started, was talking about that she liked the science behind it. She thought it was kind of cool.
Yeah, I like this. It's like something that you don't hear a lot about it. And when you understand it, you you might understand your baby a lot better. And your body.
It's kind of cool. And I'll be honest with you, it's something that I forget about too.
Mm-hmm.
I forget about it when people say, oh, my baby wants to eat all the time or, whatever. And it's like, we don't think about breast storage capacity all that often.
Yeah. And it's so important. It's such a big factor in it. All of this.
So it really is. And it's cool. It really is cool how what your body does. And there's charts and all this stuff that go along with it. So we'll I'll link some stuff into the show notes. But basically what breast storage capacity is the amount of milk that your body can hold, not your baby, but your body can hold. So it's the amount of breast milk a person can hold between feedings and varies significantly between individuals. So it just depends on your body. And it's different for everybody. Everybody's got different storage capacity. And there's nothing it is what it is. Like your storage capacity is your storage capacity. It's not going to change. There's nothing you can do to make it change. You can't I don't know, eat a food or do anything like that that's going to impact your storage capacity. It's
right.
just
and it has nothing to do with supply.
Right.
Your milk supply is what it is. But this tiny component to it, not a tiny component, a pretty big component to it, is the storage capacity of your breast. It only can hold so much milk.
Right.
And some people hold more than others at any given time. And that is going to affect how often your baby eats.
And it has nothing to do with the size of your breasts. That's a really important piece to remember. It has nothing to do with the size of your breasts. I've definitely seen it has nothing to do with it. It's the amount of milk producing glands and ducts in the breast. So it really just depends on how your breasts are made up. And if you are somebody with smaller breasts, you can have very large storage capacity. If you're somebody with large breasts, you might have a small capacity. It really doesn't matter the size. And the production, it still works the same. The production will slow down if your breasts are full. So we know that the body produces milk faster when breasts are less full, and it slows production when breasts are nearing their maximum storage capacity. So that is why feeding on demand and feeding regularly is going to keep your milk supply where we want it to be. And it's just so cool how your body works.
Seriously.
A lower storage capacity means that your breast will fill up faster, leading to more frequent feeding or pumping needs, while a higher capacity allows for longer periods between feedings. So if you're somebody who says, my baby's eating every hour and a half, why are they hungry all the time? I don't understand what is going on. The baby must not be getting what they need. It could be that you have a lower storage capacity in your breasts. And that is why your baby is taking a little bit longer or, feeding more frequently. Whereas if you have a higher capacity, your breasts are holding more milk and you can go longer between feeds.
Yeah, your baby is literally getting more in a feeding from somebody who has a higher storage capacity. So their stomach is going to stay fuller longer. And no baby's stomach stays full for very long.
Right.
So they're not going to go more than 2-3 hours without eating. But, you might say, well, my baby eats every 2.5 hours and my friend's baby eats every 3 hours. And then this other friend of our, usually it's my baby eats every 30 minutes or an hour. And why is my baby feeding so often? And it's not because you have a low milk supply. It's because you might have smaller storage capacity. We're talking about oh, babies are so different. They're just different. They're just different. We don't know why. Everybody's different. But we do know why. There would be differences in how frequently a baby is eating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's the storage capacity is just something that we just don't talk about enough. And it plays a huge role.
It really does. And we don't talk about it. and I'm definitely guilty of that too, of like not explaining it enough to families that this is something that could be going on. And that is why the baby is feeding more frequently. And that might be why you're not getting a lot of milk when you pump after a feeding too. It might just be that you have lower storage capacity.
Yeah. And this is really annoying for people who pump.
Ugh.
Because you might need to pump. You might need to add a pumping session in if you feel like you're not getting enough milk, because it might just be that you don't have as much milk in there at a given time as somebody else. It's not your fault, and there's literally nothing you can do about it except add a pumping session in, and that's annoying.
Right. So what it says here is that about your overall milk supply is that storage capacity affects how much milk is available at any one time, but it does not limit your total milk production. Your body will adjust the total volume of milk produced to match your baby's needs over a 24-hour period of time. So it really just is going to depend on your storage capacity. And there's no way to know, like going into having a baby, like what is my storage capacity going to be like?
Yeah.
Because we don't know until you have that baby and until you start breastfeeding how things are going to go. If you're somebody whose baby goes longer in between feedings, then you probably have a higher storage capacity. And that's just the way your body is made up. And the way your breasts are made up.
That's the way it goes.
Yeah. It's just the way it is. And there's, like I said, there's no way of changing it. Breast storage is a physical characteristic that cannot be increased through diet or practice. So it really just is how you are born. Right? It's like just how you are born.
Yeah.
And how it's made up. So it's really kind of cool. And you might be thinking, well, I got small storage capacity. This isn't cool for me. Well,
that's true. It's not cool. Yeah, it sucks. But maybe it helps you understand what's going on a little better. Is anybody having like oh my God, like aha moment?
That would be, yeah. I think everybody should be having an aha moment right about now.
Yeah. So and sorry.
No, go ahead.
Like,
go ahead.
Because when I was, we've talked about this, like because a lot of people like to ask, lactation consultants included, how often does your baby eat? And my answer to that, to both of my babies, is I have no freaking idea. Like, I just put them on the breast kind of all the time, no matter what was going on. And I really don't know. And so you might be like, I have no idea. I just kind of do what I do. I just put the baby to the breast all the time. You get into that habit, and that's cool. Like, you don't need to know your breast storage capacity. Like, it's not something that you have to report on. It's not something that you need to figure out. It's just a piece of information that might help you understand a little bit better what your baby is doing.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know, if you're like, well, I really don't know, that's okay, because I don't know either. I don't. I never knew.
Nancy Mohrbacher, who we love, she has she's got some great info on this. And she says here, breast storage capacity, this is the amount of milk in a woman's breasts when they are at their fullest each day. And this amount can vary greatly among mothers. Breast storage capacity affects how many times in 24 hours a woman's breasts need to be drained well of milk, either by breastfeeding or expression, to maintain her milk production. When her breasts become full, this sends her body the signal to milk slower, which is why we don't want to keep your breasts full. Why we say if you're not with your baby, you have to pump or something, because that is going to tell your body to make more milk. In other words, drained breasts make milk faster and full breasts make milk slower. The amount of milk needed to slow milk production will be much greater in a woman with a large breast storage capacity, so she can remove her milk fewer times a day without her milk production decreasing. So the magic number, this refers to the number of times each day a mother's breasts need to be well drained of milk to keep her milk production stable. Due to differences in breast storage capacity, some mothers' magic number may be as few as 4 or 5 or as many as 9 or 10. But when a mother's total number of breast drainings, breastfeedings plus milk expression slips below her magic number, her milk production slows. This is something that you can really kind of take with you when you start back to work too, to kind of know, like, I need to make sure that I am pumping this many times a day. Otherwise, my milk's production is going to slow down. And that is really important when you are a pumping mom and you are trying to keep up a milk supply. Right?
Yeah.
It's a lot. So why don't we take a break and then we're going to talk about like more about that piece of it.
All right. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back, everybody.
And today's episode is brought to you by Nursing Queen, because that's what you all are, nursing queens. This brand is a game changer for breastfeeding moms, making life so much easier when you're traveling for the holidays, out and about, running errands, or pumping for work. Their tops and dresses are designed with hidden access for nursing and pumping. People won't even know that you're wearing a nursing dress or top. Forget trying to lift up your entire shirt or pulling at the seams to pull it down or completely undressing to feed your baby. Their sweatshirts are perfect for the cooler weather. Take it from us. We still wear our hoodies to this day, even though
And
Dianne never had one. No, you cannot tell. You can't tell. And it's so fun to show off. You know, people are like, oh, I love your sweatshirt. And then I like unzip this magic zipper and I'm like, it's a nursing top. They're like, what? It's fun.
Cool.
And they're just stylish. They're just very stylish. So it doesn't matter that you're not nursing anymore. You're still going to want to wear it. And Dianne never owned one while she was nursing. And she bought one.
No, I didn't.
For her regular life.
Yeah, I wear it all the time.
All orders are designed, packed, and shipped from their warehouse outside of Tampa, Florida. They just dropped some new styles for winter, so you're going to want to go check them out. It's nursingqueen.com. And don't forget to use code BADASS for 10% off your order. nursingqueen.com, code BADASS. And you can check the direct link and the code in the show notes under this episode wherever you're listening from. And you can also find it at badassbreastfeedingpodcast.com on our sponsor page. Over there, you're also going to find all of our other episodes, our favorite resources, and information about scheduling your very own one-on-one online lactation consultation with Dianne.
Yeah, people do it.
They do, yes. Dianne has helped a lot of listeners. So you can feel confident in reaching out and scheduling one. You can also email badassbreastfeedingpodcast@gmail.com to sign up for a consultation.
Yeah, we'll hook you up that way too. So we're talking now about like storage capacity, pumping. Like when you're working, and I know this is kind of going now to being like to pumping your milk, but this is important because it does have to do with your breast milk storage capacity. And if you're a working parent, this could, make a big difference. So sometimes what happens is when you start going back to work, you are doing less milk expression, which can cause your supply to dip. And then we get into a place where our supply dips and we're not able to keep up with our baby anymore because of that situation. And that can be really frustrating. So making sure that you are getting the amount of breastfeedings, expression or feeds or whatever in during the daytime is what's going to be really important for you. So more breastfeeding when together means less expressed milk is needed. The amount of milk per day that babies need between 1 and 6 months remains remarkably stable, on average between 25 and 35 ounces per day. And that's kind of on the higher side. I've always learned that it's more like 25 to 30 per day, depending on, what your baby's doing, the age of your baby, all that kind of stuff. But usually it's like 25 to 30 ounces a day. 35 is definitely on the higher end. But by thinking about the 24-hour day as a whole, it becomes obvious that the more times each day the baby breastfeeds directly, the less expressed milk will be needed while the mother and baby are apart. But many mothers don't realize that dropping breastfeeding at home and encourage baby to sleep more at night adds to the amount of expressed milk their baby needs during the day. Understanding these basic dynamics can go a long way in helping mothers meet their long-term breastfeeding goals. So we all want to drop those night feeds, right? Like that is kind of the goal as your baby gets older. We're like, when can we drop these night feeds?
Yeah.
The truth behind it is that night feeds do keep your milk supply higher because of those hormones. But if your baby is dropping those night feeds, then expect them to feed more during the day. That's just how it's going to work out. Right. That's just basically how it's going to work out. You're going to have more feeds during the daytime, more expression during the day, and you can expect to just have that if your baby is not feeding at night. A lot of times people will ask me, like, do I have to, if my baby's not feeding at night anymore, do I have to still get up and pump? That is totally up to you. Like I always say, like, do what the baby's doing. They're going to probably feed more during the daytime. But if you are a working parent and you need that milk, then I would say, do what you got to do. It sucks to still get up during the night.
Yeah.
But sometimes you can just get up and then during the night, pump real quick and go back to sleep. Now, the other thing too, is that sometimes babies will sleep during the night. And we get excited and we're like, oh my gosh, the baby slept for 7 hours last night. Do I need to get up and pump when that happens? Do I need to, what do I have to do? What do I have to do? And the truth behind it is that your baby might not always do that because it's pretty inconsistent. Babies are very inconsistent.
Yeah. They haven't learned all the time management skills yet.
No, they don't know their time management skills. So you might find that when your baby does sleep all night, it's like a one-time thing. Or they only do it, they did it, and then the next night they were up again during the night. So like it really just depends on the baby. Anyway, that's kind of a side note. But bottom line for everybody that I want you to remember is that your breast milk storage capacity is going to vary, and the amount of milk that you pump is the amount of milk that you're pumping, right? It doesn't tell us. We always say this, when you're pumping milk, don't take that as I have low milk supply. Yeah. Because it could be that your storage capacity is just lower. And you're going to have to do it more frequently.
You're just going to have to empty your breast more frequently. That's all.
Yeah, that's all. And I know that that's hard if you're kind of in a situation where you're like, well, I don't want to be breastfeeding or pumping every hour.
Yeah. It's annoying. There's no way around it, though.
Yeah, if your breast milk storage capacity is lower, then you are going to be doing it more frequently to keep your supply where we need it to be.
Now, you don't have to automatically assume that your breast milk storage capacity is low, because there is an art to pumping. I mean, especially if you're pumping and you're like, I'm not getting very much milk. And then you might say, oh, well, I heard this episode and I have low storage, just a smaller storage capacity. You can also, with pumping, you want to maybe listen to one of our pumping episodes, because there's some things that go into pumping as well. You want to be using hands-on pumping. You want to make sure that you have high functioning pump, that you have your parts are up to date, and that you really know how to pump, because that plays into it as well. Just being able to get that milk out.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. It
Absolutely.
could be. It could just be that you need to figure. And even if you do have a smaller storage, even more importantly for somebody who has a smaller storage capacity, you want to be able to maximize like getting as much milk out as possible. So just really learning how to use that pump is important, because then no one's teaching you that. They're just like, get a pump and pump. Like nobody actually shows you how to use it.
So this is I've got another, like I said, I'm going to link this stuff in the show notes too. If anybody's like looking for more information, but I'm just reading bits and pieces. So if you want to read more, definitely check it out in the show notes. Those studies show some women have as few as 3 milk lobules or ducts, and others have as many as 15.
Oh, wow.
As a result, the amount of milk that can fit in a woman's breast varies. Anywhere from 2.5 to 5 ounces combined is average, but some women can store as much as 10 ounces in one breast, and this is very unusual. I know. And I've known some of those people. It's crazy. Think of it this way. Your breasts are like cups in more ways than one. Some women have a shot glass and some have a tumbler. Either way, baby can take in as much milk as he needs in a day, but a baby utilizing a shot glass will have to return to the tap much more frequently than a baby drinking from a large tumbler. I kind of like that analogy.
That is such a great analogy.
Yeah.
That makes it really, really clear. I mean, for me really anyway.
Cool. Yeah, no, it's really a cool, analogy. It's even more amazing than this. When a baby empties your cup of breast milk, your body knows it and sends signals to turn the faucet on higher to speed up milk production and more quickly refill the cup for the next feeding. However, when your milk sits in your cups for extended periods, for example, like sleeping through the night, or if your body senses the milk is nearing the full capacity it can store, an opposite signal is sent to slow down milk production. Your body is constantly interpreting the baby's milk removal and your breast fullness as an indication of whether to make more or less milk and whether to make it quickly or slowly. Your body aims to keep your milk supply just right for your baby's needs through a genius interaction between your milk storage capacity and your baby's feeding demands.
Mm.
And then it says at this point, it is pretty cool. Am I a shot glass or a tumbler? How can I tell? Breast milk storage capacity is not always related to breast size. So looks can be deceiving. The good news is your baby will tell you. So at first, newborn feeding patterns are all over the place. Since newborns have such tiny stomachs, the size of a marble at birth, we know that babies can only hold a very small amount of milk when they're first born. Right? So no matter how abundant your milk is, feedings will be small and frequent. During the first days and weeks, you will get to know your baby's feeding cues, and they will tell you what they need. If all the glands aren't activated by frequent feedings in the first 2 weeks, your body won't be able to utilize your maximum storage capacity later. So initiating feeds in addition to responding to your baby's feeding cues to ensure your milk supply often gets off to a great start. So your baby settles into a rhythm of feeds. After a few weeks, you may be able to identify that your breast milk storage capacity is looking at your baby's feeding frequency and your pumping output, which is really only applicable if you're pumping like frequently. So if you're somebody who just pumps once every kind of here and there, you're not really going to be able to get a good read off of pumping.
Mm-hmm.
Baby's milk transfer at the breast determined by a breastfeeding professional by weighing the baby before and after feeding. So, and then it goes on to say like about average milk intake, 25 to 30 ounces a day, stays constant from 1 to 6 months of age. So babies don't drop feedings over time unless the mom has a tumbler size storage capacity. Popular infant schedules on the market that focus on dropping feeds as babies get older and sleep training are not compatible with successful breastfeeding for most women, as they do not take each woman's unique anatomy into account. That is why we always say feed on demand, right? Feeding on demand is what's going to keep your supply where we need it to be. Because if you're feeding on a schedule, and that's really hard when you return to work, we know that. But if you are pumping pretty regularly when you return to work, that is going to help out a lot. And it's kind of hard. So like, it's hard for breastfeeding professionals like myself to kind of guide parents into keeping their supply high when parents are like, but I can't pump more than I am because of my work schedule. Or, so that makes it hard because it's like, I don't know how else to tell you to keep your supply where we need it to be.
Yeah.
If we can't keep up with emptying that breast milk storage capacity, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it can be a very difficult thing to stay on top of it, but try to keep in mind, this is not for a very long period of time either. This is just for, a small amount of time of your baby's life that we need you to kind of keep on with making sure that your feedings are staying where they need to be. Knowing a lot of people do ask, like, how much milk will my baby take in a day? I think it is really helpful to know that your babies take about 25 to 30 ounces in a day. That way you kind of know if you are a pumping parent, I need to have at least this much milk in a day for my baby.
Yeah.
If you are not pumping, it doesn't matter. Just feed your baby and the rest will work itself out. I don't think I ever thought about how much milk in a day my baby took.
Oh my God, no way. I didn't know until my kids were not breastfeeding anymore.
Yeah.
That probably when you said it on the podcast, like how much they had in a 24-hour period. I was like, oh.
It really, yeah, it's crazy.
Never knew that.
I never knew that. Never really thought about it.
You know what? Like breastfeeding on demand and like really having all the information and like doing, breastfeeding through the night and all these things, whether we like it or not. It's so great when you really realize how breastfeeding made it through, these thousands of years of human existence. You don't have to know anything. Like when you're bottle feeding, you have to know how much to put in there. How much do they need? What's going on? When you're breastfeeding on demand and you're just kind of, you don't have to know any of this.
Right. You don't.
And you can learn it and that's fun for some people, but like otherwise you just don't need to know. It's not going to come up.
No, it's not. So there's this great chart, and I'm going to read this. And then again, this stuff is going to be in the show notes, but it is a really great guide. And it says, if your baby often takes both breasts, needs many feeds per day to gain weight well, must wake often at night to feed, you may never double pump more than 4 ounces, you may have small storage capacity. Your baby may take one or both breasts, needs 7 or 8 feeds per day to gain weight well, needs some night feedings. You may double pump around 4 ounces a day with a missed feed around 2 ounces, 60 minutes after a feeding. You may have medium storage capacity. Baby often takes one breast, is done quickly, needs fewer feeds per day to gain weight well, may sleep for longer stretches at night. You often double pump more than 4 ounces. You may have a large storage capacity. If fed on cue, which is the same as feeding on demand, babies can thrive with any storage capacity. But because of the milk they get per feed varies so much, to get the milk they need for 24 hours, their feeding patterns must vary. I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So that is all on storage capacity. If you have questions about it more, or you need to, kind of know, like, what is my storage capacity? I'm not sure what's going on with my baby. You can always email us too, and we'll help you kind of find your way. But that is it. That's it.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.